Today's video is all about the quick draw glitch. This is an action you can do in Destiny to switch from one weapon to the other extremely quickly. To be more specific, you're essentially canceling the animation of pulling out the next gun and just going straight to it. This technique easily wins me engagements every single time I hop on to play. Now, when some people hear the word glitch, they automatically associate it with some sort of game-breaking mechanic that shouldn't be allowed. That's somewhat of a fair take, I suppose, but a lot of people just call this the hot swap technique. So anyone in PvP who's like, bruh, I don't need some glitch to win in trials. You ever heard of 3-peaking? Yeah, it's called skill gap, being able to pull out your sword in the middle of an engagement. Chill out. Just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about, here's a very basic example of swapping between two hand cannons regularly versus doing it with the quick draw glitch. You can see pretty clearly that the one where I'm using the technique almost looks like I'm just swapping the skin of the hand cannon and not actually switching between the two. And some of my core audience might be able to point out the fact that I've already done 2 videos on this, so why am I doing a third? Well, to be frank, I still get a lot of comments and DMs in Discord asking me to explain how to do this. They're usually referencing timestamps in some of my older videos where I just have regular gameplay in the background and they'll notice it. This is me just swapping back and forth between one frame and the next frame. You notice the hand cannon essentially becomes the shotgun. But I think a large uptick in the interest came from the new Deep Stone Crypt raid. At the final boss, you'll see people swapping between 2 slug shotguns to get as much DPS in as they can. So I guess I can finally say that this is very useful in PvE as well, even though I'm a PvP channel. But I'd like to take this opportunity to say that this final summary video around this concept is largely with the help of a good friend of mine named Shadow. Easily half of the questions I get are, is this possible on controller? Well, that's the input that he made, so I wanted him to demonstrate that all of this is possible on controller. Of course, some of it is harder and takes longer to practice in a private match, or some of the situations aren't quite as good, but they're still worth it. He's an up-and-coming content creator who's been really focusing on YouTube and Instagram. I've got his link in the description below, and it would really mean a lot to me if you could go to his channel and check out some of his recent videos. Maybe even comment on one of them, letting him know that you came on this project that we worked together on. So how about we start with that raid one? I've got one slug shotgun out, I'm holding down ADS, and then instead of just swapping and waiting till I can shoot again, immediately after hitting the swap button, I hit W and then shift. What that does is it tells the game to go forward and sprint, essentially canceling the swap animation, and then I'm re-ADSing to shoot. In a standstill situation, you don't even need to let go of ADS, so I can just hold that down, swap W, sprint, shoot, swap W, sprint, shoot. On controller, this particular standstill situation is a little bit tough. The mechanic behind it is still identical. You're holding ADS, you're hitting swap, then you're moving forward with your joystick, clicking in sprint. The swap animation gets canceled, you're still ADS, and you can shoot the next shotgun. The reason I say it's tougher is because to be just as successful, most people need to bind their custom sprint layout in the Destiny settings to hold sprint specifically, so that when they let go of the click on that left joystick, it cancels the sprint. Now, the reason I don't want you to be concerned about this particular scenario is because in PvP, you're not going to be sitting here with 2 slug shotguns going as fast as possible, so you don't need to mess around with your button layout. Let's look at a basic standstill again, but in a PvP situation, maybe I'm shooting my thorn and then I need to swap to my shotgun as quick as possible. Here's the action of doing it normal versus the action of doing it with the technique, just so you can see the difference in timing. On the right-hand side, I'm already shooting my shotgun before the left-hand side has even finished putting away the thorn. It's the exact same logic as the raid example that I just showed you. I'm in the middle of shooting my thorn, and the instant I realize I need to switch, I hit swap, W, shift, and shoot. When you're first practicing this, it's gonna almost feel like you need to mash these buttons in order to get it to work. It's kind of funny when you toss these clips into the editing software, you just visually see the difference right there in the audio clips. Now, Shadow is actually a sniper main, so I wanted to include some of those examples as well. Exact same concept. Let's say you're aiming down the scope, you body someone, and then you want to switch to your primary as quick as possible. Use the button layout, either M and K or controller, to initiate the quick swap. Similarly, you can also do this while you're strafing, and that's where it's a little bit tougher on controller again. For me on PC, let's say I'm holding A, strafing to the left with a sniper. Right after I get that body shot, all I gotta do is hit swap with the W shift combo, and I'm ready to hit them with my hand cannon. Whereas Shadow is already holding left on that joystick. Now he needs to quickly move that joystick in order to initiate that sprint because it's using the same input, but it's still possible, which you can see right here from his footage. Now I'm going to show you a few jumping versions, whether it's jumping forward or backpedaling from someone on a Titan or a Warlock versus a Hunter, because those jumps are pretty different. And then at the very end, I'm going to show you a slide. I want to take a quick second to mention our Discord, because on the off chance that you were wondering why I haven't been uploading as frequently, you see we have a section in there dedicated for animal pictures. Actually, why don't I just introduce you to our brand new puppy? Odie, can you say hello to the YouTube? Oh my gosh, say hello to... You don't know where the camera is, do you? Anywho, yeah, puppies, they're a lot of work. Yeah, this guy has been a handful and it has been a little bit tough to edit recently, but I'm back on the grind and excited for the new season. It's been really amazing to see all of the comments on YouTube and then getting to know people even better in the Discord afterwards. We're nearly at 2,000 members right now with an LFG on all platforms, as well as a weekly scrim event, which is essentially a safe environment for people to learn how to play Destiny in a competitive nature every single week at the same time with more and more people each session. So if any of this interests you, I highly recommend checking the link for the Discord in the description. And if your interest is around improving in PvP, you might want to subscribe and turn on the notifications, because I've got a lot of videos planned out for the next 3 months all around the core mechanics and even the little things that the best players do that I think separate them from the majority of the player base in this game. But I've stolen enough time, so let's get into when you're jumping forward at someone. Now with this one, if you're jumping forward at someone, you're already holding W or up on that joystick, for example. So the glitch is actually less effective in this one specific scenario for Titans and Warlocks. What I mean by that is in a regular scenario, you'd be running forward, you would hop once, swap, and shoot. And if you wanted to implement the quick swap, you'd be running forward just the same, you'd hop, and then instead of just swap shoot, you would do either swap shift shoot or swap boost shoot. The reason is because hitting the shift or the boost button cancels the previous action of sprinting, and my first video on this whole concept goes in depth on what I mean by that. But again, this one is not as effective, so I really wouldn't worry too much about this. The back pedal is where I really notice I win my engagements because of this technique. Similar to before, let's say I'm shooting my thorn at someone and then they decide to slide at me, and I'm left with two options. Either I try to swap and shoot right there, or I try to create some space while I'm doing it. In other words, backpedaling. So your first instinct might be to simply hop back and then hit the swap button and then shoot. But if you implement the boost right after that swap before shooting, it'll actually pull out the shotgun and shoot a lot faster. It works on controller, and the button layout mechanics are the exact same between that and M and K. You hop back, swap, boost, shoot. No requirement to click in your left joystick. Alright, now the last two scenarios to cover are the hunter versions of that forward and back pedal, and then implementing this when you go to slide shotgun. With the hunter forward jump and the back pedal, again, controller and PC have the exact same logic, so I'll make sure to show the controller footage, but I'm only going to have one button layout with the logic behind it. And I actually made an entire video on hunter only, so this is going to be very quick. When going forward, instead of your typical hop, boost, swap, shoot, you go hop, swap, boost, shoot. All you're doing is starting that swap animation before you do that double jump or boost to gain that extra height before you shotgun. Similar to Titans and Warlocks, the forward jump is a little bit quicker, but nothing drastic. It's the back pedal that makes the biggest difference. So I'll repeat that one. Let's say you're running forward, you see someone slide, so your first instinct is to quickly hop in order to get in the air so that you can back pedal and boost backwards, right? You just got to make sure to do the swap before the boost. So it would be hop, hit the swap button, then move your finger to S or pull back on your joystick, boost backwards and shoot them. Just remember, swapping before boosting results in you being able to shoot them faster. Alright, now last but not least is the slide version. It's very typical for people to slide around a corner to get a shotgun kill, or you see someone and you just decide you want to slide and shotgun them in the face. This one will likely seem the toughest at first. Taking a regular scenario, let's say you're sprinting and then you decide you want that kill. Usually you would hit your crouch button to slide, and then immediately after hitting that slide button, you would hit swap and shoot them. You might ADS, you might not. Either way, this is totally fine, but yeah, there's a bit of a quicker way to do it. On mouse and keyboard, believe it or not, when I go to decide that I want to slide shotgun someone, I actually hit swap, slide, shift, shoot. That's right. Instead of just slide, swap, shoot, I hit swap, slide, shift, shoot. The premise is similar to the beginning of the video where I hit swap to initiate that animation. And if I hit slide instantly after I hit swap, damn near at the exact same time, it'll actually start me in a slide. And when I hit shift immediately after that, it cancels the animation and lets me shoot right away. All right, unfortunately for my controller folks, this one's a little bit like the slug shotgun one and kind of finicky. Same logic, you're basically hitting swap and slide almost at the exact same time, but then you need a way to quickly cancel your sprint and shoot. And it has to happen fast enough that it's sort of all in one action. Again, you could do that custom mapping like the hold crouch that I showed earlier in the video, or Shadow was actually able to do it by pulling back on his joystick. And what I mean by that is he clicks in his left thumbstick to start sprinting, obviously, and when he decides that he needs to slide over and shotgun somebody, he was able to do it by hitting swap and slide at the same time and then letting go of his left thumbstick just a hair to cancel that sprint, right? And then shoot. Of course, to me, that seems pretty tough on controller, so I apologize for that, but I wanted to provide it anyways just for completeness. Okay, so this was a pretty intense topic, I think. I made this third video to clear up a lot of the questions and comments that I've been getting in both the Discord as well as some of my other videos, but now I think I really want to stick to some core fundamentals around basic PvP. So I thought I would mention a bit of a roadmap of mine for my content. If you're watching this at the published date, there's a brand new season coming out, so I'll be happy to cover anything new from there. I'm working on a big Titan armor exotic video, so if that's something you're interested in, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications if you want to be alerted whenever I post that. And then after that, aside from a couple deep dives on a few pieces of exotics, I really want to get back to basics and help people out who are maybe around that 0.8 to 1.3 KD, for example, and they just can't seem to get their game to go further. There are so many things that are little and not as technical as this that will help you improve. So that's the plan for the next couple of months. And if you enjoyed this content, be sure to leave a like or give me some feedback in the comments if you think that I can do things better. And with that, I'll catch you later.